So here I am in all my glory, on my own, at Parkhead. See, look, it's me. And back out to reality, all for the sake of 8 pallets of, not kits, but plastic bags. This little video is going to be a bit backwards. Obviously, I'm still outside Parkhead, having delivered 8 pallets of plastic bags, obviously branded with Celtic on them. I wasn't gonna film this, and then I decided to just to show you what it's like sometimes on a Friday. So it's now about 9 o'clock on Friday night, and I'm up in Glasgow. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do the video back to front, and after this, you'll then see. I'm gonna film in the morning and tell you what I did, if you understand that. So right, I'll catch you in the morning.
Why didn't I come this way in? Oh, and away we go.
that was yesterday, and now I'm going to tell you what I did yesterday because it's excuse me, it's kind of relevant to something I said in a previous video about. Some of you may remember, some of you have probably not even watched it, but I said sometimes even when you're busy, you're busy. When you're quiet, obviously you're quiet, and sometimes you've got to take the rough with the smooth, especially when you're quiet. So if any oddball jobs come up that, let's say, you don't really want to do, you've got to grit your teeth and do them. I think I made the comment regarding, let's say it's Friday morning, Friday afternoon, you think you're on for an early-ish finish, a job comes in, let's say to Carlisle from down south somewhere, and I'll be on it rather than going home. I suppose I'd even do that if I was busy, because I've said before, you've got to average everything out. So a good week and a bad week, you can probably average it out to 2 alright weeks. So this week, job-wise, has been really, really quiet. Currently it's Saturday morning. Obviously that you've just seen up in Glasgow was Friday night. So let's rewind a bit to Monday of this week. Now on Monday I got a job for a customer that I do jobs for direct out of Darwin, and that job was up to Aberdeen. And in the current climate going up to Scotland, I'm always a bit wary about committing to them, because a lot of the time you do struggle getting stuff out of Scotland. You know, obviously there's plenty of food and drink and machinery and all that kind of stuff that goes up, and all the regular stuff that comes out of Scotland, all the Scottish hauliers are contracted to do it. So you're always looking for those oddball rush jobs when you're coming out of Scotland, and they're not too common. You could go up and do a delivery in Perth, and then maybe get a job out of Dundee to Kilmarnock, or get a job from, I don't know, let's say Cumbernauld up to Clydebank or something like that. You can always kind of get those little jobs. Because I remember on one occasion I didn't have a return load, but I spent the day in Glasgow, and I think I did 3 locals, and because I hardly did any mileage, because it was like one side of Glasgow to the other side of Glasgow, then from Motherwell to Clydebank, and then one from, I don't know, let's say Irvine to Cumbernauld. Mileage wise, that isn't a lot, but I was well paid on that job, because, you know, I can't remember exactly what one job might be. I don't know, 10 mile. You know it's going to take you at least 3 hours, so you're not going to charge mileage of 10 mile, are you? You're going to think, right, well, it's going to take, I'll get there, take me an hour load, half an hour to get there, you know, you figure it out like that. So by the time I'd done 3 jobs, from a mileage point of view and a rate point of view, it was really good. And then probably the morning after, or that night, set off back south, empty. But that day's work covered everything and some more. So when I do Scotland, I'll either try and do something like that, or if it's been a really good paying job up here, I'll just come back down, you know, down towards Lancaster, Preston, and then you've more chance of picking things up. And all right, you've wasted 3 or 4 hours driving back down, but you're back in an area where you can start getting jobs again and bringing some more money in, rather than hanging about in Scotland. So back to what I was saying, on Monday for this particular customer that I work direct for, they understand that issue. So there's never any conflict over price. We've got a set price now for going up to Aberdeen. because they understand that, you know, it'd be a bit different if I was an Aberdeen haulier on my way back up, but I'm not. So I've done this job from Darwin up to Aberdeen on Monday. Well, it was load Monday morning for Tuesday morning delivery. So got up there, got up to the location Monday night, got up Tuesday morning, tipped there, and because I know that even if I set off back empty, I've still earned more than enough for all my costs and a bit of profit. So I set off back down, you know, constantly on the lookout for other jobs, and no jobs came up. But the issue I had was, again, if you've seen any of my previous video, I do relate to a job I do on a Thursday, and it's a full day. Like I said before, if you drew a line from Stoke-on-Trent to Uttoxeter, down to Coventry and back up to Stoke, that's the run. It's collect from one, go to collect, deliver at another, down to another, do the same, and then back up. So I always finish where I started. And I normally start at Uttoxeter, but this week they wanted me to start at Coventry. And bear in mind, I'm in Aberdeen, and I've set off Tuesday. I'm thinking I could do, oh, and they wanted to bring it forward as well to the Wednesday. So I'm in that kind of situation where you're thinking, well, do I hang around a bit and wait for a load, or do I just think sod it and just drive all the way down to Coventry empty, which I ended up doing. And you may think that's really stupid, but the people I do the job for on the Thursday, the price we agreed was based on my home location. So once I've got from Scotland down to Lancashire, they're then paying me to go down to Coventry or Uttoxeter or Stoke, and that's all included in the price. So it's not quite as bad as you might think, but it is, even though we're in December, because Christmas is a couple of weeks away, I'm really quiet. So because I know there's money there, I'm going. It's like, well, yeah, well, there's some dead mileage, but you know, we've got to go and get this done. So I've gone down, got that done. So now we're on. So picked up Wednesday, Coventry. Did the run Thursday night, parked up in Coventry. And again, I didn't want to park up Thursday night in Coventry, wake up Friday morning, there's no jobs, everyone's kind of, oh no, sorry, we've not got anything, and then have to drive back up to Darwin empty, because then there's just 2 jobs for the week, and I've probably just about, again, earned enough to pay for everything with a tiny bit of profit. But when I was parked up in Coventry, I went online and there was a job, collect 9 o'clock, Friday morning, 8 pallets to Glasgow. So I've looked at it and I've thought, right, well, normal circumstances, and any of you that are employed drivers, you're thinking, oh, I hope the gaffer doesn't get that job because I want to go home. But I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, well, if I can get this at a decent price, I'll have more than, I'm not saying more than, got in what do I mean now? If I get this job, I'll have probably brought in a week. Sorry, with these 3 jobs that they're doing a week. So I'm looking at it, so I've priced it, kind of collect at 9, deliver at Glasgow, but I've also calculated the mileage from Glasgow back down to Darwin, which I'm doing now, in the price, because again, you don't want to be stuck in Glasgow I don't know, on a Friday evening, knowing you've got to come home and knowing full well there'll be no jobs out of Glasgow on a Friday night and there'll be none out of Scotland on a Saturday morning. So I've priced it accordingly, including the mileage back to my yard, and they agreed that price. Now normally if it I'll probably relate to something I've said before, if it was just a load of cornflakes going to A to B, there's no rush for it, but you can collect it on a Friday morning at that time, deliver it next week, they wouldn't have paid that money, because they've loads of time to get it sorted with other people. But this was a rush, desperate job, because the people in Glasgow, up at Celtic, even though they were just carrier bags that they use in the souvenir shop to put the tat in, I think they'd run out. Today's Saturday, I don't know whether they're at home today, I don't know, because I'm not a fan of Celtic. So, but anyway, so we agreed a price. So I've got to Leicester at 8:30, 8:45 Friday morning. The guy I needed to see didn't start till 9. I was told to be there at 9 anyway. So the need turns up. I've told him what I'm there to collect, and he says, "No, it's not here. We've not got it." He says it's still on a truck on its way from Turkey, and we sat here waiting for it. We were expecting it this morning. It's not turned up yet. So then various phone calls are made, and it turns out that this Turkish driver has got like 3 or 4 drops in England once it's come over, and he's been told that the Leicester drop must be first because it's a rush job. Anyway, he's decided to go to Cambridge and do one of his other jobs, so he eventually turned up at 12 o'clock. So by now, let's say I'm 3 hours behind, and yes, I did get waiting time, so I got even more money for it. So we're waiting to get loaded. He's turned up, I've got loaded, and then it's a case of driving up to Glasgow. And the thing is, if the Turkish guy would have been on time, I'd have been loaded. I'd have probably got up to Glasgow about 4:30. Now the guy that takes the deliveries in Glasgow finishes at 5, so that's fine. But the fact we were delayed 3 hours, and the fact that at Celtic they're desperate for these bags, this bloke's just had to wait around till I arrived. It was all right about it when I got there, because he needed the stuff. But then that meant once I'd tipped, because I'd driven all day up from Leicester, I'd been hanging around 3 hours. By the time I'd come out of Celtic Park and gone down to Lesmahago, Route 74, I think I'd done 14 and a bit hours, because in the morning I wasn't parked up Thursday night in Leicester, I was parked in Coventry. So it's get up, clock, sort your car out, then drive up, hang around for 3 hours. So my point is, again, that sometimes you've got to, when you've got your own motor, there's always these jobs that, especially on a Friday, you don't want to do, but you've kind of got to do them. You've got to do them if you want to. I say if you want to succeed, but if you want to continue in business, because if you don't, you have a load of quiet weeks, it soon starts catching up on you. So one really good job that's really inconvenient can give you enough money to subsidise, you know, last week's quiet week. Just by doing this, I know it's now late Saturday morning, so I'm going to have wasted my Saturday, aren't I? Really. Thing is, I'd probably still be in bed at home this time on a Saturday anyway. But doing this job has doubled my income for this week. And really, it's an easy job, isn't it? Pick up Leicester, forget the days and the times, pick up 8 pallets in Leicester on with a forklift, drive up to Celtic Park, which is just off the motorway once you get into Glasgow. The only issue was, because it's the Friday, it's not the Friday literally before Christmas, it's the week before, but I think a lot of people are off next week. So coming up from Leicester yesterday were a nightmare, because not only did you have everybody who's usually on the road on a Friday afternoon on the M6, it's everybody else deciding that they're going away for Christmas. You know, the type that only use the motorway on bank holidays and at Christmas. So that kind of delayed me a little bit. So that's all I wanted to get across. Well, right, yeah, so it's easy. Fork on, up to Glasgow, in there, just off the motorway. They're expecting you, they're hanging around. They've got the forklift out before you've even opened the curtains and unstrapped your load. And as soon as you've done that, forks off, and I think it was only there 15-20 minutes, you know, pallets off, and away you go. So just bear it in mind that just a sec. Yeah, so just bear it in mind, because even if you did a couple of jobs like this a month, you should more than make up for the 2 or 3 quiet days. Because like I said, I had one job to Aberdeen, which took me all Monday, tipped Tuesday morning. So then didn't have a job all the rest of Tuesday, because I was going down to Coventry. I think I stayed at Carlisle Tuesday night, hoping I could get something Wednesday morning London. Then Wednesday morning, drove down to Coventry. So there's a day and a half where I've not been doing a job. But because I've done this one, that's made up for those days. Sometimes it's alright, isn't it, these on-board jobs, because you end up going to places you'd never go before. You know, because I'd have much rather deliver to the other side of Glasgow, if you know what I mean. But I had to deliver there, but, you know, needs must. Right, so leave it at that. Cheerio.